Hey everyone, welcome back to Fiscal Voyage, Felix, and we're going to talk about Bitcoin again and try to do 2 videos a week on the price movement of Bitcoin and following the power law model here on charts.bitbo.io. And you can see here, first off, this is long-term support on the red and the resistance on the purple, and then this is basically the medium price where Bitcoin should be, and based on this it should be around $170,000 per coin. And you can see here the low of the resistance on today should be around 60 grand, so it's basically right at the low. Sure, we could probably peekaboo under 59,000, which is the support on the power law chart here. And you can see here during the FTX crash in 2002 2003, it basically almost touched it right here on around November 22nd, around there, almost touched the 15,000, but it had a nice bounce, you can see, since then. And here in 2020 during the COVID crash, got near it as well, and then had a crazy move higher. And then 2015 around $200, hit the support line as well. So we probably might have something like this as 2015 2016, where just keep following the power law trend, and then eventually maybe have the higher move to the resistance. But basically, based on this, the price should be around 180. So this is why I'm buying a lot of Bitcoin during this price range. And we look at the chart later. So we have this in alignment, the charts in alignment, a lot of news in alignment, positive news for Bitcoin. So this is why I'm going in a lot at the current prices. And you should do your research too. Study Bitcoin and study money and study what problem Bitcoin solves. Very important. And so you can see here, power law. By 2028 is the next halving, so it should be around a $300,000 price in the median, or as high as almost $1 million in 2028. So that's very exciting. And if we go to the chart, first off, we look at the 3-month chart. You can see here what we got here. This is just basically notes that I have there for Bitcoin to buy more shares after the weekly 50 moving average, and I'll show you why. But here you can see here the RSI, you can see here is oversold, and we weren't oversold. We were slightly oversold, but not as high as 2021 and 2017. And you can see here we're basically near the medium, which is around the 50 area. And you can see here, so this aligns with the power. We align technically with the power law, which you have support here, which will become resistance, which become now support. So this is why I'm going heavy at this price point. And if we go on the weekly, why I would buy more shares of Bitcoin. I'm buying every week during this time, during every paycheck, I'm buying more Bitcoin. But once we get over this 50 moving average, which should bring it around 85, I think, with more time around this area, as it would go here, right? It should bring it down around 85 grand. Should be the point where it starts crossing over as this gets closer and closer to the current price. And once we get over, close a good weekly candle above this 50 moving average, that's when I'll go even more heavier, because then we're now start an uptrend. And you can see here in 2022, obviously this was a great price point, but it was kind of risky because you don't know if it's gonna go lower, right? But once it broke this bar here, broke the 50 moving average and got over it, is where, like, I'm waiting for this thing to happen here. So that's where I'll go heavy here. As you can see here, it stayed for almost a year at this price area, April all the way up to not April the following year, but almost in October, when it starts to actually move up. But this was definitely a great time to accumulate a lot more. So this is where I'm going to go heavy. And you see it done in here as well. Broke the 50, then it got over, go heavy, boom, you have no risk, you know, besides the 50 moving average. But once it gets over it is good, because here, for example, it got over it, you buy heavy, and then sure, it broke it, but it was a short lived, and this was COVID, once in a century type of an event. You can see here March 2020. So that's COVID, which brought it down. But then once it got back up over the 50 moving average on the weekly, boom, took off. And then you can see it here before as well, done the same thing. We had this crazy move over a grand crash. It broke the 50 moving average, stayed there. Oh, Bitcoin is dead, Bitcoin is dead, Bitcoin is dead, Bitcoin is dead. Once it break over the 50 moving average right here, boom, this go heavy, boom, it just takes off. So that's kind of what I'm waiting for. You know, obviously I'm buying more at this price, buying more every paycheck, but then I have savings in cash. Once it breaks over the 50 moving weekly average, that's when I'm going to go heavy even more. But right now I'm just adding every week, adding until we break this, and then I go even more heavier, because this will become lower as time goes on. So it will be, you know, 85, and then especially once it breaks this and breaks that, oh, that's when it's gonna start to go make a new high. Obviously once it breaks, it could fumble around there, but we're above the weekly 50 moving average. You know, we had great support in the 60 grand, so that's kind of what I'm looking at there. And you can see here on the monthly we had the 50 monthly average, and that's great support area as well. So that's kind of what I'm looking at for Bitcoin. And recently it did close above this, but then the next bar closed under it, so that still is in effect here. So we need a solid close here, maybe 2 or 3 bars close above this, and then that will show that this is basically a low. And this is good here. We have a higher low here. We had a higher high and a higher low here, so that's good. And here we had a higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. We need to get over this and create a new high, and that's will start the uptrend. And of course we need to break this daily 200 moving average to really confirm the uptrend. And that's kind of what I'm waiting for as well. As you can see here, this is at 79. So once we break that, and then we break the 50 weekly moving average, then we just have huge confirmation that the low is set, and then we should just go higher from that point on. But it does have some work to do. It needs to break this resistance here on 65, get a good green bar close above it, and then we have room all the way up to 82 grand from 67, 68 all the way back to 82. Obviously it could fumble. It will probably go like this here, and then we got another one comes down to retest, and then from there we go back to 82. So kind of that's kind of what I'm expecting. So we'll see. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to study Bitcoin, study it to fully understand why Bitcoin is important, why the world needs it, and it basically brings hope to everyone. Bitcoin is something special, and make sure to study it fully, understand it completely, and you understand why I'm buying Bitcoin and why so many people are buying Bitcoin. You know, Michael Saylor buying billions of dollars with Bitcoin. Governments are buying Bitcoin, and you understand why it's so important. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.